Welcome back to the Build Show. I'm your host. Over here at the Empower Gaming Studio. Sorry about the last couple nights. I was a little burnt out. So I did take, yesterday night, I was actually going to, Sunday night, I was going to do this build. But I took the night off. Because I was extremely burnt out. Yes, Ant-Man, welcome back to the Build Show. I did not update the specs from the exclamation point build command, so please don't use that. I did not get a chance to update that as I'm rushing to start the stream late, almost an hour and a half later than I was supposed to. So bear with me. I had another PC in here that I was trying to finish up, and it took a little bit longer than I anticipated because I was like, I could fit this in and get this done, and that was around 6 o'clock. And now it's almost 9:30, so it took longer than the couple hours that I was anticipating, so I apologize for starting a little late. But here we are still doing it. Couldn't let it go another evening. I have to get this build done. Adriana is super excited waiting for this one because our RAM, this kit, was unfortunately lost in limbo for quite a while. It was supposed to ship almost a week ago and it never shipped. And then finally one day it just randomly showed up after, of course, I went to Micro Center and just went and bought a different kit of RAM. Because I was like, you know what? It's not going to show up. I'm just going to go buy another kit. So bought that other kit on Friday, and then this showed up yesterday, just randomly, and didn't expect it. So now I have an extra 32 gig kit of RAM for DDR4. That is way over expensive because the kit over at Micro Center was, I want to say about $45 more than this kit that I bought on Amazon, which was pretty insane when you're doing a build and every penny counts for your profits. I don't know if Adriana's in the chat or not. I did email her earlier and let her know that I was going to start around 8. And since I'm an hour and a half late, she probably thinks I'm not going to stream at all. So I did just email her letting her know that I was going live with her build just before I went live. And sent the link. So I don't know if she's watching or not. If I was her, I'd probably be like, nah, there's no way he's doing the build. It's already 9:30. Here I am doing the build after 9:30. So anyway, let's run through the parts, the build out, and then we will we'll start building this thing. We'll tug through it. Should go pretty quickly. This shouldn't be anything too crazy, and it's also a build we've done several times, or at least in the case we've built in several times. So to start off, the CPU is a Ryzen 5 5600, which has got the 6 cores, 12 threads, and a maximum boost of 4.4 gigahertz. So this is a 5600 with a wonderful B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi. I'm a really big fan of these boards for AM4, as I've talked many of times, just because they have, with the micro ATX, it's hard to find a micro ATX AM4 board that supports 2 M.2 slots and also has USB-C front panel and also has 4 slots for your RAM. Not that, you know, all B550Ms don't have that feature, but it's a nice feature instead of like an A520, etc. And it has better quality VRMs overall. Roundabout board. It's a solid micro ATX AM4 board. So if you're looking for a micro ATX AM4 board, when it comes to, I guess, dollar versus features, this is a fantastic board to go with. Chefy Tech says, hope you're taking care of you and your family first. Always. That's why yesterday I was like, you know what? We're not doing a stream tonight. I was burnt out. Over the weekend, gave it my all. Steve Anderson says, hello, everyone. Go Seahawks. Of course, you're rooting for them. Another 50-60. Yes, Roy, another 50-60. Don't worry. The next couple builds are going to be a little bit beefier. If you saw, I did post the build stream schedule this week, hinting the builds throughout the week. So if you wanted to catch another stream with a little bit more horsepower, the next two are going to be a little bit different. So they're all different builds this week. So it's a nice flavor of builds, so to speak, throughout the week. So anyway, the Ryzen 5 5600 on the B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi motherboard. We're also going to be cooling the CPU with a Peerless Assassin 120 SE addressable RGB. It's in black, and it's got the two addressable RGB fans on it. We are going with 32 gigs of DDR4 3200 megahertz CL16. And this is the Corsair Vengeance LPX. This is the kit that we were waiting for. I got this for like, I want to say $174 versus the kit that I got at Micro Center, which was $215 or something like that. So there was a major difference in price, which is why I really wanted to just wait for this one instead of trying to get the other kit, because it was about a $40-ish difference in price. But anyway, that's a great kit of memory. On top of that, we do have a 1 terabyte Inland TN 470, which is a Gen 4 drive. This was actually more like $120 if you're looking at that price. Down here on the sticker, that is not the correct price, but I think I grabbed that from Micro Center too while I was there. Or I don't know how I got that. I have no idea. I can't remember. I bought so many parts within the last 2 weeks. I'm sorry, but I may have picked that up from Micro Center just because their prices on the SSDs are actually a little bit better than what you see on Amazon or Newegg right now. Let's see here. Graphics card is the RTX 5060. This is the MSI Shadow 2X, so we went with the MSI card to match the MSI motherboard. And then we're going to be powering the system with a Segitep 650 watt 80 plus gold power supply. And we're building this inside a Okeanis Aqua 3 micro ATX tower. We did add 2 additional reverse blade fans, and another benefit to this motherboard is that the PCIe slot for the graphics card is all the way at the very top, the top row, which means your card is not as close to those fans as, say, a lot of other micro ATX motherboards will have the slot down further down, like 1 or 2 slots down further. And that means the card placement in a micro ATX build such as this tower will be putting the fans of the card right up against the fans of the case if you put them underneath, like we're planning to do. So that gives us a little bit more room for the case fans underneath the graphics card, which is nice. So another benefit to the B550M that I like. Throwing it out there. Okay, so now that we know the build, how was everybody's weekend? Didn't get to see you throughout the weekend. Hope it was good. Let's build this thing. Throw some of this out of my way because we don't need those. There. And open this bad boy up. Jeffy Tech, welcome back to the Build Show. Tony, welcome back to the Build Show. Ant-Man, welcome back to the Build Show. Roy, the Intel guy, the last supporter. Another 5060. I think we already covered that one. But yes, welcome back to the Build Show. Steve Anderson, welcome back to the Build Show. Everybody else, welcome back to the Build Show. Coral Reef, it's too cold around here to have a good weekend. I was thinking that actually earlier today when I was standing outside, staring at the sun that was actually poking through the horrible snowy day. I was like, oh, sun, give me some vitamin D. And then was thinking, man, it is frozen out here. So yes, we are supposed to, here, if you're not aware or familiar with Michigan's weather right now, we're supposed to get, what is it, like minus 11 degrees over the weekend, next weekend coming. So it's supposed to get colder, is basically what I'm saying. It's already cold. It's going to get colder. Even more cold. Great weekend. The Seahawks won 41-6. Oh, yeah, they annihilated them. He played a very good game. Quarterback name slipping my mind. I just know that he played pretty much a perfect game. So, pretty impressive. Very impressive. All right. Other than it being cold, I hope you had a good weekend. That. Cyborg. Oh, you got your PC working. Oh, that's nice. Hey, what's up, owner? Welcome back to the Build Show. And Cyborg, welcome back to the Build Show. Hello, Ben. Hello, Twitch and YouTube chat. Owner says over on the Twitch side. Welcome back to the Build Show. Well, that's pretty cool, man. I heard you said you got your PC fixed or up and running. Was it the power supply? I think that's what we were talking about last. TSU? Yes. Nice. I think we diagnosed that over a live stream chat. I feel like that's what we did. Or helped. Confirm it at least. You swapped the 650 watt for a 700 watt. Which 700 watt power supply did you go with? All right, so the Ryzen 5 5600 going into the AIM4 socket. Great Neo. Yeah. Bad PSU, yes, it was. Yeah, I think he came into the stream and he was asking questions about the issues he was having, and we all kind of leaned towards bad power supply and told him to try swapping that out, or if he had another power supply to try that, or if he had a power supply tester to try running it on his existing power supply. I remember the conversation briefly. Next is our 32 gigabytes DDR4 3200 megahertz CL16 kit by Corsair. It's the Vengeance LPX. We got this for about $174, like I was saying before. 32 gig for RAM is a very, very good price right now. Popping that into slots A2 and B2. Yeah, I don't remember either, unfortunately, but I do briefly remember a conversation about the issue you were having. So it's good to know that you finally got to the end of it, and that it was the power supply. Oh, what's up, Tim? Welcome back to the Build Show. Tim says the Italian Stallion. I don't think I'm that. I swapped this motherboard one on stream to the B550A Pro because I had an opportunity of grabbing it hell of a cheap from a very trusted friend. So I had to upsize my build to ATX. Oh, gotcha. So that's why you went to because I know you went to like an ATX, very small ATX tower. All right, so next is the TN470 by Inland. I already unpackaged it. but it's a 1 terabyte M.2 Gen 4 drive that we're going to be installing in .2 slot here. We're going to remove this stud, or it'll be on the back of the S's. Don't want that touching back of the S's. Just that extra stud has spreader lays down on top of it. Down .2. Don't need the M.2 through the SF. Like that, you have an M.2 drive installed. Okay, so with that being completed, next, going to install our Peerless Assassin by Thermalright. This is a 6 heat pipe tower air cooler with 2 120mm PWM addressable RGB fans. It was a Zalman Gigamax 780 plus bronze certified ATX power supply I'm using now. I've actually not used the Zalman brand before. Except for maybe many years ago. I'm talking like 10 plus years ago for a power supply or a cooler. They had some really nice coolers back then. Tony, I'll try over here. I loaded the Windows onto a flash drive, but I can't remember my pin. And I think I need it when I put it on the new build. You shouldn't need your pin. If you loaded the Windows setup, like, are we trying to make this a brand new PC? If that's the case, you're just making the bootable Windows setup drive, which has the setup files for installing Windows. And if you use the Wizard, you just plug the USB drive into your functioning computer, run the Wizard. It takes the USB drive and makes it a bootable Windows setup drive. Then you take that when it's done, plug it right into your new computer, and it should automatically detect that that is the only bootable device on the system, since there's no other bootable device, and then boots to that, and then it takes you through the Windows setup process. So it should be pretty easy once you have the bootable Windows setup drive created. So if you need help with that, like I said, Tony, just let me know. We can jump on a call even after the stream if you have some time. We can even do a remote session or a screen share on your other computer, and we can make sure that that bootable USB drive is set up correctly if you need help with that. But it should just boot to it. And there won't be a pin required from your previous PC. I don't think so. Yeah, my PC corner is very small. Right. I'm always looking for the smallest cases. That way I don't have to let my PC, put my PC on the floor. Nice. Tony says, I got an AS Brock Steel Legend 1000 watt power supply for my current computer case swap and card swap and AIO. Oh, wow. That's quite the change there for that other system, Tony. Let's see here. Yes, so Steve Anderson, the exclamation point build command is incorrect. Unfortunately, Ben was lazy tonight and did not update that. I don't know why he wouldn't do something like that. So that is actually from the previous build, so I apologize I didn't update that. But this is a Ryzen 5 5600, 32 gigs DDR4 on a B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi motherboard with a Peerless Assassin, a 1 terabyte M.2 NVMe Gen 4, which is a TN470 from Inland. And it's going in an Oakiness Aqua 3 case. We have some additional bottom fans for intake, bottom intake fans. And we have an RTX 5060 and a 650 watt power supply we're going to be putting in there. No, Steve, it's not right. I'm sorry. My bad. I promise next stream I'll make sure it's up to date. I was just in a little bit of a rush because I said I was going to start around 8 p.m. on the Discord schedule, and didn't start till almost 9:30. So I was like rushing through it, and then I completely forgot to change it. Yay, Okadis is back. It never went anywhere. Just we kind of changed it up a little bit. I always say take everything out of the case and try the same power supply because it sometimes could be the case. It could be a ground. Yes, that's always a truth behind that. But in that situation that Cyborg was kind of talking about when he originally came in and started talking about his issue, it sounded more like just straight up the power supply. Tomac 5 watching and 5 likes, much better. Wait, where are the others? So we've got a total of 10 viewers right now across multi-platforms. So we're over here on Kick, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. I think that's it. I don't think we stream to X anymore. Tim, thank you for the like over on the Facebook too, by the way. But anyway. Aim 4 here. Almost. Why are you yawning? I'm yawning? Did I yawn? I'm 3 out of 10. I'm 3 of the 10. Oh, nice. Thank you, some giant idiot. Yeah, it's usually a pretty light night on Monday nights. It's not usually too crazy. I think our higher views are Fridays and Saturdays. Usually when we get kind of a good sized crowd. Steve Anderson, hey, I'm on a 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte computer tonight. It is paired with the 5800 XT and 64 gigs of DDR4 CL16 RAM. Woo! 64 gigs. Man, that's some good RAM. I mean, everybody's making fun of that because it's 64 gigs and, you know, how expensive it is today. All right, let's go ahead and get this cooler installed. Gonna first remove these stock brackets. And we'll bust the case out. I'm sorry, not the case. The cooler out of the box. And get the hardware installed and slap this cooler on there. Nothing too crazy. The Peerless Assassin that we're putting on there tonight. Yeah, $105 now. Yeah, you could resell that for 4 times the amount. Which is crazy to me, by the way. The goat cooler. Yes, the goat cooler. It's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. I agree with that. The reason why it's a goat cooler is because of its price. Not a very expensive cooler, but it's a very strong cooler, and it competes with some coolers that are almost $100. Actually, it does compete with most coolers that are $100. So, nowhere near that price point. So, that's the reason why I guess the name Goat Cooler. I just finished setting up my new motherboard, Gigabyte B650M AX Ice something or another. Sounds about right. Probably the Aurorus. The Aurorus, or it could be the Eagle. Can't remember which one. Oh. Okay, we got the hardware busted out of its bag. Studs on. And bracket. And I like to start them with my finger sometimes, and sometimes I like to start them with the driver. Let me find the box. I hear you. I'm joining. I got bored and put the new 300 RPM Arctic fans on my PA 120, on an old PA 120, and it cools a 14900F. Sounds like an F-35 fighter now. I just got to play with one of those really old Corsair tower air coolers on a Intel i7 7700, or was it an 8700? I can't remember. It was an older socket, and had an older Corsair tower air cooler, and that thing actually was a beast. White with aluminum. Trying to say it the British way, or the Australian way. Where's it the British way? Aluminum. I don't even know how they say it right. They say it a really messed up way, but it's aluminum. Them Brits. All right. We're going to do some Arctic MX4 for the thermal paste from this Mass UK way. The UK way. What's up, Ian? Welcome back to the Build Show. Hey all, hope everyone had a good weekend. Yes. Hope you had a good weekend too. Tony, oh, a couple of over here. It's going to be fun because I'll be able to compare the 9070 XT to a 5070 Ti. He is rich. He is. Tony says, also, I'm curious how the i9 12th gen will compare to the Core Ultra 9. Very true. Well, I mean, the Core Ultra 9 should definitely beat it. Noctua's Nightmare is the Thermalright. Oh, yes. Noctua's Nightmare is Thermalright. This is very true. Just because of how much cheaper their coolers are versus Noctua's, and they perform pretty similar. It's like, why do I run Noctua? And don't tell me it's for the poop brown color. We all know you're lying. Nobody likes the poop brown color. Okay. With the thermal paste applied, we will peel the peel off block and slap this on there. Our tall boy. Here's our tall boy. Let's get down there and get it. Get some. Very nice. Now that we have that completed, we can put the fans on, which have the two clips either side and then clasp to the cooler itself. Yes, these fans like to overlap the RAM, so if you buy RGB RAM with this style of cooler, we'll lose out on some of that RGB. I don't typically buy the RGB RAM if it's going to be covered up. Tony. Rotate that. Break these cables open, and then we'll tie these up a little bit. And then we'll bust the case out. Throw this in the case. Front panel stuff. Drop those in. Couple of ties. Tony, did you see my build on the Discord at Roy? I don't know, did he? Really, I saw it. And it looked absolutely fantastic. All right, we are ready for a case. Get that thing out. Maybe. Didn't really want to leave the box. I mean, can you blame it? It's nice and comfy in there. Hey, what's up, Ari? This is my build. Sorry I'm late. No, you're fine. Sorry I'm late. Hey, we should probably zoom out. Thanks for telling me, guys. Appreciate you. All right. So Arya is here over in the YouTube. So welcome to the build show, Arya. Tony says, I learned everything from you. It was a lot of work. Wasn't that bad. Make it sound like I work. This is new with the Oakiness Aqua 3. I haven't seen one of these before. But it's showing the limitation of the RGB controller on the backside, which is up to 1.5A per port, which is a maximum of 2 fans per port. Maximum total concurrent of 3A. No more than 5 fans in total. I think I've surpassed that once or twice. I'm joking. Or am I? All right, so here's the smaller case, Adriana. Or do we call you Arya? What's gonna be in it? Well, we're doing a Ryzen 5 5600 on a B550M with a 1TB M.2 NVMe SSD and 32 gigs DDR4 3200 CL16 with an RTX 5060 650 watt 80 plus power supply, cooling it with a Thermalright Peerless Assassin, all built into an Oculus Aqua 3 case with some additional bottom fans. Aria is fine. Perfect. So some giant idiot demands that we zoom in because he wants to see the atoms. Hey, what's up, Killa? Oh, sorry, you're over on Kick too. What's up, Killa? Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. Sorry, I always seem to miss the Kick chat. There's a wonder, we all wonder why Kick is so lonely over there. I'm terrible at it. I have to separate that chat from the other chat windows. Actually, all three are separated. It's just Kick is the furthest to the right and always gets the least amount of love from my eyes. Ooh, you're splurging, I think is what you meant, on RAM and storage. Nice. Yeah, technically we are splurging a little bit on the storage, or a little bit on the storage. Not very much. I guess, is 1 terabyte splurging now, guys? Is that what this world has come to? 1 terabyte is considered splurging at $120 per terabyte. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay. I cannot wait and hope that these prices come back to a real world. Only the chillest and the realest people hang here. I sip my tea when I sit here and talk. Some giant idiot. Alright. So, with that being installed, I do have a couple of studs. Are there any studs in this room that we gotta move around, and add? So here's my stud driver. Gotta locate a couple more studs. Yes, it's splurging. So sad. Get out of my way. Then we gotta move the bottom one to another position. Apparently not in the right. Happy Monday! I have both open. I think I'll open Facebook too. Yeah, may as well. Let's see here. Well, it's not beautiful yet, but it will be. You might want to double check that. I got used to ignoring Intel. What's up? Oh, shots fired. Yes, it is. Had to pay €471 for 32 gigs of DDR5 6000. Yeah, it's crazy over here in the US too. Got a bit of a discount as I ordered 5,600 euro stuff, or so it ended up 410 for 32 gigs. Yeah, over here in the US, it's about $420 right now, 430 for a decent DDR5 6000 CL30 kit. And more if you want a fancier version of it, like for example RGB. Those are about 450 bucks right now. Absolutely stupid expensive. Okay. Now that we've got all of our studs in place and our back plates in place, we can lower the motherboard into the box. Before we tie this down, I'm going to send the extra. Stuck up. All right. Well, that was fun. Do it again. I'm just kidding. We're going to use the long boy to get this screw. Okay. Might actually have to pop this off. I feel like I've done this once or twice before. Please. I have you now. Darth Vader reference for wondering. It's okay. Everybody breathe. Calm down. It's okay. See? I got it. No need to panic. Jeez. Okay. We got one screw done. Now for the additional A7? Eight. Well, got one, so only 7 left. Oh, that was close. Oh wow, we're just grabbing the wrong screw. Oh. MX4 is thinner and easier to spread. I agree with that. How about the MX7? Yeah? Did you guys see that new stuff? I actually haven't been able to try it yet. Hey, hey! Tone? What's up, man? He's saying hey over there on... Ian, thank you so much for the tips, all. I missed a whole conversation, guys. I'm sorry. Fighting this cooler over here. Aim 4 is the good stuff. I agree with that. Why we still run it. I honestly thought, I'd say about mid-year last year, I was gonna discontinue all Aim 4 products. But then the memory stuff happened, and then I was like, nope, I'm going to keep doing it. Keep it alive, keep it going. A lot cheaper for DDR4 than DDR5. AM4 runs DDR4. That was why I kept it around. The only reason why you could really do a PC build, decent one, under or around $1,000 is because of AM4. Everything else is just stupid expensive. What's up, Noah? Welcome back to the build show. I feel like I've missed a lot there. Sorry, guys. Okay, so the only downside to having a tower air cooler and putting in the bottom fans that I didn't really think about, because I'm special, is putting in these bottom fans is going to be a big pain. A real big pain. So we're going to get our front panel stuff plugged in, and then we're going to try to tackle those fans. I'm special. Undo the blob. USB-C, USB-C, and then HD audio. And last but not least, our front panel. So we have a connector here for our ARG pink. Go down and around this way. There's a twist tie on this cable, which I'm going to remove because we don't like those floating around in our system. So I think it's a... Now that I think about it. Then, we have a PWM fan connection with this massive, ugly looking yellow thing that's new from Okinus also. I'm going to peel that ugly thing right off and sayonara. And I think we have a fan We have one over here. 99.9%. We do. So I'm gonna put that one. Makes more sense to me. Then these ARGBs are going to go to the top. We run back through the top here. Go around the RAM. Second. See if I bump the LED on this board again. You know how I like to always bump the LED switch on this board? See if I do that again. Trying really hard not to. Ian says, my workshop PC, I was able to luck into a Threadripper 3990X a few years back. I have zero plans to upgrade for a few more years. I mean, kind of a beat. Hope you don't have to upgrade. Go, we got our front panels done. Ah. Oh, forgot the yard. Took a little finagling, but I got it. There we go. Look at all those connectors done. And I didn't move the LED switch, so that's a good sign. Okay, so now we can put these bottom fans in without having to worry about everything plugging in down there. Let's go ahead and do that. And we are putting in two Thermalright reversed blade adjustable RGB fans on the bottom. These are about $7-ish, $8 a piece, depending on where you buy them. Really nice fans for the price. They also have an authentic tag. You can scratch this to verify that it is a authentic Thermalright product. But I already know they are. Who is not clicking on the like? 26 people are watching and only 5 likes. Whoa. We got 26 people watching. I didn't even realize we had that many people over there on YouTube. My current PC has a 5600 DDR5. It's great. I only bought it near RAM. Only bought near RAM because I built a new PC. New RAM because you built, yes, because you built the, you bought, because you built the new PC, correct. I would have recommended it too because 5600 is very budgety stuff. So I would have recommended it also. Although I just built with 5600 because of budget. on another build off stream. And it was actually stuff I already had from early DDR5 days that got returned after about a year of use. I had to send it back to G-Skill, placed it for the customer, and then I had an available 64 kit of 5600, but it was XMP only. It was not aimed. It was definitely an Intel kit. So I put it back on an Intel board with a 14900K that also was ARM-made. Burn outage. Hey, that. ARM-made game is finally getting use out of it. I bought a Z790 board and I was like, oh, we can just slap together another build. You know, because I was holding on to it for additional warranty replacements, but I think we're pretty far past the Intel failure. So I'm definitely going to be able to get this one. I'm going to get this back because of where it is. The fact that even with Mr. Stubby, this is called Mr. Stubby. If you want a comparison, that is the comparison for Mr. Stubby. There's a reason why he's called Mr. Stubby. Usually he could fit in places other drivers won't fit. Perfect for this scenario. Prepping by dropping the screws in here first, then what would you think if I downloaded Linux on my new build? I think it would be interesting. Go for it. Definitely not against Linux or anything. It's just mainstream support is behind Windows, so I have to follow that for all my builds. Unless somebody specifically asks me to install Linux for them. Generally, I just do Windows. That's where the mainstream support is. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Tony. You recommended me to 6,000 and see how I could find what I wanted. Buy the 48 gig kit was $100 more, but then I would have had 48 gigs. It was 8,000. 8,000 megahertz? Yeah, man. Ari, what games are you going to play? That's a good question, Ari. Do you have any plans for any specific games that you wanted to play on here? I mean, you and I kind of briefly talked what your plans were with the PC, but you could tell everybody here if you'd like. Do up the elevator music, please. Holy smokes. Don't need those. Alright, Mr. Stubby for the win. We got those installed. Yay! Sitcom applaud and laughter. Alright. Now, we gotta get the RGB connections plugged in, and I'm going to run this up to fan 2, because we've already been super awesome and filled out fan 1 with the other 3 fans. May as well keep it current, follow it. I had to do follow that by doing this. Open. These addressable RGB connectors. I'm going to go right into the back of this hub here. There are no more addressable RGB headers on the motherboard. This make it totaling out to 5 total fans on the hub, like Okinawa's recommended to max out. So we've maxed out that hub with 5 concurrent fans totaling, maximum of 2 on a single header is what they recommended. Although I think these are less power than what limited to. But I assume people have overloaded those hubs and then called Okinawa support. Had some RMAs happen, which made them put that sticker or that card in new cases. I feel like that's why that happened. Thank you for the sub, Ellie. Ellie Dark over on YouTube. Thank you for the sub. Ari says I need some game recommendations now that I have I'll actually have something decent to play on. Try Doom. I don't know if Doom Eternal is game sheet. Are you an FPS player? Do you like first-person shooters? I don't play Doom. I mean, personally, I like Doom, but I like blowing stuff up. I still have a PC with Windows on it, but Windows 11 is just kind of beep, beep. It'd be fun to see. Yeah, go for it. I mean, what do you... worst case scenario, you don't like it, you just format the driver and reinstall Windows. What's up, Alex? Welcome to the build show. I have a XFX Force 970 XT, 9070 XT, nice. TDL. Ellie. Oh, hey. I heard it does not work too well on Linux as driver issues. I think it's Tony over on Twitch that is talking about installing Linux on his new PC. This PC is going to get Windows 11. Windows 11 Pro. We're talking about, we have different conversations going here. Sorry. We have, make it even more confusing, we have different chats. So we're streaming to Twitch, to Kick, to YouTube, to Facebook. We've got chats everywhere going. Conversations everywhere. I'm not just talking to myself, by the way. If everybody, you can say that. I don't care. Battlefield 6 is another I don't play because I want to give a game kernel access. Another I don't play. Oh, because it wants kernel access. Got it. If I do go his window, should I choose Pro then? I mean, generally speaking, it's only the key. You could get the key, Tony, for like anywhere from $5 to $20, depending on where you get it from. So, yes, I would just go Pro because it has a few additional networking features. Not that you'll ever maybe use them, but they're nice to have sometimes. Yes, she already said she's perfectly fine with Windows 11 or with Windows. That's mad. There's 2 Ellies with 2 5070s. Unless it's the same Ellie with 2 different accounts. Should I get vintage retro beige white ATX sleeper build case VPR matrix? I've never heard of that one. No, I've never heard of it. Build a sleeper? It's $100. What is it, like an old case that somebody just cleaned up and called it a retro ATX case? If I do... we already read that. Sorry, guys. I feel like I've missed stuff. Sorry. There's probably some chat that I missed. I apologize if I did. It's moving pretty quick tonight. At Ellie Drake. Sorry. Yes, it is. It would be better than a 5080 or a 5090, as the 7800X3D is a monster still. It is, definitely. I'll send a picture of it. Yeah, if you want to drop it in the Discord, Noah, that'd be cool. Okay, now that we got these bottom fans installed, we can drop the graphics card. Oops. We can drop the graphics card in here. Come out. Not mean to. which is the Shadow. The MSI Shadow 2X GeForce RTX 5060, featuring 8 gigabytes of GDDR7, 128 bits. And this is also the overclock edition. I tried to do like super... I don't know. Super trailer guy. Always not very good at it. But it's MSI. We're matching the MSI graphics card with the MSI motherboard, which is kind of cool for aesthetics. Very plain box packaging. And at least there's a graphics card in the box and not an Xbox 360 power brick. Yes, that has happened live. For those of you who remember, the True Goats. Funny enough, guys, later this week we're doing a build for Raymond. That was the guy. This is his second build, I think, for his wife or somebody, some significant other, I'll call it, later this week. And he's the guy that we had the RTX 5060 power brick scenario with. So we'll see if, because I have another 5060 Ti for him. Not a 5060, but it's a 5060 Ti. We'll see if that comes with a power brick this time. And if it is, then it's just his luck. I'm not picking them by hand. They're being shipped to me, so... It's just our luck, man. Can't make it up. I could not make that up. My face was, like, what do I do? Here I am live on stream holding a Microsoft Xbox 360 power brick instead of a graphics card in front of a customer, and I'm like, yeah, this is not supposed to be here. I do not know what the protocol is. I felt like I should have just ended the stream there and moved on. Ended my building career. Oh yeah, that looks nice. So this thing is starting to look a little beefy, you know, with that massive cooler in there on top of the RTX 5060 with the bottom fans. Looks like it's got some balls. I mean, some horsepower. While still being elegant. We're not even done yet. We still have to put a power supply in. Dude, the power supply. You'll have issues plugging. It's not going to matter. I mean, the EPS cable, regardless of what I do, is going to be down there in that hole. Yes, it is going to be painful. Yes, I am probably going to cut my hand getting it plugged in. But the cooler was already here first. So I would have had to put the power supply in before I put the motherboard in to make a difference there. So we're well beyond that, Tom. We're well beyond that. So, yes, I am going to cut the crap out of my hand to get that EPS cable in. If I do... Okay, wait a second. Need to do that again for April Fool's stream. Oh, yeah. Sent the pictures of it. Okay. It's also on eBay, so you can tell when you look at the picture. Okay, I'll take a look at it. Hi, Ari. Hi, Coral Reef. Hi. You guys know each other? I love it. It looks clean and straight to the point, Tony. Thank you. does, doesn't it? Just say. I know. I know. They would have been smarter to put the power supply in first, then the motherboard with the cooler loose, so I can finagle the board a little bit over this way to get that EPS cable plugged in. But it's Ben we're talking about here. Do you think Ben does it the right way? No. Which, speaking of the power supply, we have a 650 watt 80 plus gold from Sagittep put in here. Usually that works on TikTok. I see it all the time. People just like drop things down and then all of a sudden it's done. Does not seem to work here. Sorry, guys. We'll have to talk to our editor about that. Hey, John. The exclamation point build command, just so you're aware, John, is not correct. Tonight, Ben was lazy rushing to get the build started and did not update the build command. So I apologize, but that is not correct. It is a... Instead, tonight we're building with a Ryzen 5 5600 on a B550M Pro VDH Wi-Fi motherboard, which is an AM4 board. We've got 32 gigs of DDR4 3200 CL16 Horsehair Vengeance LPX RAM, and then a 1 terabyte Inland SNT 7 TN470 Gen 4 SSD. For those of you who don't know, that's a Micro Center brand. Peerless Assassin power air cooler for the CPU cooler, and then an RTX 5060 built into an Okinawa Aqua 3 and a 650 watt 80 plus gold power. And we did add two 120 millimeter RGB reverse blade fans at the bottom for additional intake for this build. Very nice PC overall in the end. Going to be really snappy with the Gen 4 drive on the 5600, and then it will game very nicely with the 5060. And with all the extra cooling that we have in the system, it'll stay nice and cool, so it'll handle those long game sessions very nicely. Okay, nice, yes. Sorry. Next stream, I will make sure that's updated. I started only an hour and a half late, so I was rushing to get the stream started. I was like, and then I forgot that, and I was like, after about 2 minutes into the stream, somebody punched it right in the chat, and it came up. I'm like, crap, I know I forgot something. Did forget something? That one's on me. Okay, now with the power supply mounted, we can bust out these cables, send them to their proper locations. What on earth is going on here? Got power cables running through power cables here. Oh. That up enough. Try bump that button for sure. Oh, come on. For crying out loud. So then we gotta go through it again? Are you kidding me? All four of them? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Find out. I don't like it. Info de résistance. I lined it up with my fingers and then used the screwdriver to push it down into the slot. Is my technique when I'm in a situation like that. Able to feed it in there and get it in. So that has been completed. Z. Are you getting tired, Tom? Oh, you have a Thermaltake Core P3 Pro case. So easy to plug that in. Yeah. Tony says, I haven't built a PC since 2005. While I was doing it, I remembered I hated it then. But I had to run Crysis at Ultra. Oh yeah. Cyberpunk is a little old. But not that is the new Crysis. It is kind of the new Crysis in my opinion. I agree with that. Ben always gets it done. I love you, brother. Yeah. I always try. The other thing I learned is that an electric screwdriver I bought sucks. Yes, the screwdriver that was sent to me from a viewer also sucks. I have not found an electric screwdriver that I like to build with yet. So if anybody has one that they recommend, that they know works, feel free to share. But so far, I have not found one small enough to justify having it, and two, powerful enough to actually get the job done. So here we are. Uh-oh. Oh, we unplugged that? Whoops. I was like, oh no, why is this unplugged? Where'd this come from? Thank goodness it was only here. I must have unplugged it while yanking on cables and stuff. That'll happen from time to time. Next thing we have is a SATA power cable. But yeah. Zippity zip 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 zip. nice and neat. Or as neat as possible. Another unwanted twist tie in here. Finding them. Find them. Ah! Why is those? I'm doing that. Yes. Before we get to the bottom of here, we are going to tie up the EPS cable and then tackle the bottom best I can. Okay, just made the order for the MX4. Thanks again, everybody. You're welcome. MX4 is a great turbo face. Really can't go wrong with its price, performance. Some of the best stuff is Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut Extreme, but I think the MX4 and the Cryonaut Extreme in time test about the same. Cryonaut Extreme probably lasts a little longer, but I'm talking about its dry out time. Thermal paste eventually dries out after it gets hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold over time. So it does eventually dry out, and then you have to replace it when it's dried out. Your man's gonna hate me for doing this. Throw it in the hard drive tray. Okay. That is about as good as it's going to get when it comes to cable management. Let's see here. Crap. We got one cable poking out, and I gotta reach it from down here. Pull it through. Did I get it? Yes. And that's how it's done, guys. There she is. Built. You guys want to see if it turns on? Yeah. The next fun part, nerve-wracking moment, does it power on? And then after it powers on, does it boot up? Yep. You got awesome penmanship. That looks awesome. Thank you. Years of practice. See if the camera stays put. This camera likes to have a mind of its own. A little too far up. A little bit, a little too far down. There we go, right there. Yeah. All right, Arya. Ari, you are here. we need to have you tell us when to push that power button to turn it on. We're just waiting on you now at this point. Just shout in the chat saying, fire that thing up. I'm trying to get this thing focused. Holy smokes. Okay, that's about as good as it's gonna get. That's about as focused as it's gonna get. Sorry, let us know when you're ready. We're ready to fire this thing up for the very first time. Waiting for you. Want to make sure I actually push the power button. She says, now, punch it. Oh yeah. There she is. Fire that thing up. It's looking real nice. Does it post? It works. It powers on at least, so that's a plus. Well, we got the white boot light. Monitor's getting some activity. Keyboard's getting the num lock. I think we're gonna post, guys. For those of you who don't know, post is power on self-test. It is the test that every computer goes through when it first turns on. That acronym, we call it POST, power on self-test. So it's testing to make sure that the CPU is there, and then it tests to make sure that the CPU is working. Same with the RAM, and then it needs a display. Those are the three primary things that it needs to post: is CPU, RAM, and display, or GPU. Also used to be called VGA back in the day. So most motherboards still call it VGA. But those are the three troubleshooting lights that you usually see here on this little white light. There's going to be 4 lights in total. One is going to be CPU, one is going to be RAM, the next is going to be VGA, and then the last one is going to be boot. Usually boot or post, or might be named differently depending on the manufacturer that you're buying from. But in this case, we have CPU, DRAM, and VGA. Those are the 3 indicator lights. If it stops on one of them, generally that means there's a problem with one of them. So that's a way of troubleshooting whether or not when a computer boots, where to look. If you have a debugger light, that'll tell you kind of where the problem lies, which is nice when it's not booting. Usually it's as simple as that. But here we go. We got a post. In this case, MSI uses a white light for the post when we're in the BIOS. That white light will shut off eventually when we get past the BIOS and boot into Windows. But right now we're posted, and I've gotten into the BIOS, and we're looking at 32 gigs of RAM, the Ryzen 5 5600. The CPU core temperature is currently 29 Celsius, which is excellent for that CPU. And it's not listing the storage, but I don't think I can see the storage here on the screen. It's there probably. Yes, congratulations, Ari. The build is built. Now we just got to finish it. I got to do the BIOS update, install Windows, do the drivers, play with some XMP stuff and fan curves and all that fun stuff, and then I will have it ready for pickup. Probably some point tomorrow I will have it ready. We did do pickup, didn't we? Yeah, local pickup. So I should have it ready for pickup probably later in the day tomorrow. Nice. Hopefully when it's not snowing here in Michigan. You're welcome. We finally got it done. Oh, by the way, did you hear, Ari? I don't know if you were here in the beginning. That RAM that we were waiting on showed up yesterday. After I went out and bought it anyway. So now I've got an extra kit for the next build. Yay. It didn't even show that it shipped. It just showed up. Like, okay, that's nice. So we were missing the RAM for this build for like a week, and I was like, I have no idea where it is. It hasn't even showed that it shipped, and I called and emailed the place back and forth a couple times, and they're like, yeah, it should be on its way. And I'm like, well, the tracking's not updating. So I just didn't trust it. And I was like, I'm just going to go buy another kit. So bought another kit, and I ended up using the kit that was originally purchased for the build, which is the Corsair Vengeance LPX RAM that's in there. Steve, that is the Height X50, if I remember correctly. Absolutely a beautiful case. I'm looking forward to building it live on stream one day. Building in that case. We will be doing it eventually. Tony says, I was kind of weirded out when I hit the button on my build and it kept changing the colors of RGB. Yeah, it'll do that when it's kind of posting through, so don't worry about that. Better to have extra RAM than none at this point. Good point. Alex says, American Megatrends go in Taiwan. 1996 3D Rage ATI. What are you talking about? Maybe I missed something. Maybe I missed something earlier. Yeah, it's a Height X50. It's a great case, by the way, Steve. Super retro style, which I like. But it's also a super... It's built kind of like the Torrent. If you want an example, Steve, of the X50, it's just a smaller version of the Torrent. It's DDR4. You could throw it all in. I know. I could. But that's not... well, what... Excuse me. One, they're two different brands. So, unfortunately, I don't usually like to mix brands like that, especially on new builds like this. At this point, you can't have too much, right? Yeah, I mean, you get as much as you can get your hands on, because it might be a while before these prices come down. What's up, Talk? Talk later, maybe. Welcome to the build show over on the Kickside. Sorry, I missed your I don't know if you chatted, actually. I just see the emote. I was just joking, and it's an extra 200. Yeah, it's $200. $240 for that other 32 gig kit from Micro Center, by the way. Well, 220 plus tax, so it was like 230 something. I don't have a business account open with Micro Center because I'm trying to boycott them. Okay, thank you. I will look on Amazon right. I might upgrade it with that case. Yes, that case is really nice. The red one was really hard to find, so just so you're aware. They have all sorts of different colors. You could also purchase it directly from Height's website, Steve. So if you can't find it on Amazon, you could go directly to their website and order it there. And maybe they have a deal there. I don't know. Alex says it's the first GPU ATI. Oh, yeah. ATI. 1996 ATI 3D Rage. I actually had one of those a long time ago. It was a fantastic card for its time. I've been building for a long time, guys. If that shows my age. Nice floating PCI cable right there. Oh yeah, don't you like that? Just floats in the wind. I just didn't want to stick it underneath because it would be in between the fans and the GPU. I was like, I'll just kind of shove it through there on the side. It makes more sense to do that rather than block airflow. Or, I love this one. This one happens a lot when I do it. When I drive the PCI cable from the bottom to the GPU, it likes to grind on those bottom fans. Sound like a dirt bike. Yeah, it's a good job. So, in this situation, I will run the cable, the PCIe cable for the GPU over the top of the card. I just don't want it chancing it dropping and hitting those fans when it, you know, gets boxed up and moved around and then gets set back up finally. You never know. I've had it happen quite a few times, actually. And they're like, yeah, my computer sounds like a dirt bike. I'm like, yeah, pop that open and push that cable up a little bit. And I was like, if you need to, grab a zip tie out of the box and zip it. So I've learned my lesson on that. Don't do that. Yeah, they've got like a purple, a green, a black, a white, and a red, I think. I think it will eventually be over on Amazon, Tony. It's just not there yet. Steve says he wants a red one. Oh, yeah. Well, there we have it. We have Ari's computer built. Finally. When I say finally, it was a while ago. Waiting on that RAM, which took up the majority of our weight, unfortunately. Which is why I went to Biker Center. I was like, screw it, I'm just going to go buy a kit. I'm done waiting. Took an hour and 47 minutes to stream and build it. Not too bad. Oh yeah, and then there's the blue. I forgot about the blue. That is it for the night, ladies and gentlemen. Ari's PC is built, and we are going to move on to the rest of the evening. And then we'll be back on Wednesday for another build show, and then back on Friday for a third build show this week. So we're trying to target 8 p.m. for our start Eastern time for each of the build shows, but of course, I'm very dynamic. I'm not always there on time. I try. But let me know if you have any questions, and if you haven't already, if you're new to the channel, feel free to join the Discord channel by doing the ! Discord in the chat to receive the link to the Discord channel. It's a great place to hang out and ask questions while I'm not streaming. Also, I have a bunch of people that game there, so it's a great place to hang out. You might catch me playing a couple games in there every now and then, depending on if I'm not busy, which usually I am. But in the rare chance that you do find me, pop in and join a game. It looks great, Tony. Thanks for posting it in the Discord. Oh, the build? Yeah. Tony's build. Tony did a great job on his build, guys. So if you want to check out Tony's build, he did post that over in, I think, the general chat of the Discord channel. If you want to check out a really nice looking retro height X50 build, he did a great job on it. All right, guys, have a good night. We will see you on Wednesday night. Happy Monday. Awkward time before Ben finds the next button for the next scene. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We'll see you next time.